Thank you so much for sparing the time. Good to see you on this side of the spectrum. So let's start with you. How different it is to go into the nuts and bolts a little deeper than you are used to before we look at the ZF side of things in your new role.
Well, I think it certainly is a change,
Right.
but it's a very positive change because anything which is challenging, new to learn,
Right.
and especially when we are in a spectrum where the industry is moving from ICE to electric,
Yes.
and where ZF is already ready with their bouquet of
Offerings.
of things. So I think I see that as a very positive sign.
Right.
So of course the length matters. It's no more 5, 10 or 15 meters.
Yes.
However, I think I'm very impressed with what I have seen with our establishments in India,
Right.
with the kind of people we have here, the passion they display,
Sure.
the technical knowledge they have, and the amount of customers we service in India and especially out of India.
Right.
So I must say that I'm really looking forward to the coming years to work together with my colleagues and grow ZF as a meaningful player in the Indian auto component and, let's say, digital space and AI space and innovation space
Right.
in India.
You seem to have pretty much, I think, settled into your and started to build your comfort zone over here. I'm getting that feeling because I've interacted with you over many, many years in your earlier capacity. So, when you joined ZF, from that time, what were the aspirations, the goals that the company set in? How did you decide to take that forward, and where are you at the moment?
So I would say that it's quite preliminary as of now.
Sure.
It's just been 3 months.
Right.
So how many years in ZF?
Since 2007.
Right, 7.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's say 16, 17 years.
Right.
We have Herman outside with customers. He said 40 years,
Oh, wow.
and I was saying 40 days. So I think that's the difference. But I think what I feel good about is having looked at all the facilities. As ZF, it was good to note that there are either through joint ventures or directly about 18 large plants in India
Right.
in the businesses of pass cars, components, in the business of commercial vehicles where we have an extremely strong position
Yeah.
from the erstwhile Webco, which is called CEVs now, in the business of windmills,
Right.
which is one of the largest plants in the world in Coimbatore, which we'll talk about today,
Yes.
in the field of industrial technology, where we have construction, agriculture, material handling, etc.
Right.
So I think the portfolio is quite large,
Right.
and world-class technology products are being made out of that.
Right.
Having said that, then I think even icing on the cake was the 10 technical centers we have here,
Yes.
with the largest in the world for ZF being in Hyderabad,
Yes.
with 3,500 engineers there, working for India, of course, but for customers all around the world,
Right.
for the engineering capabilities for other 160 plus ZF facilities around the world. So I think putting all this together, and with India being at a very stable situation as of now, or rather on a growth path,
Right.
and it looks that that's where it would be over the next 5 to 7 years, I think that it was a good decision to be here at the right time.
That was a long answer for absolutely, you hit the nail over there. Now, would you say that large is an understatement over here because the portfolio is massive? You're looking at multiple segments. There seems to be a convergence of all these segments towards the sustainable development goals, and that kind of a convergence is there. But from a customer perspective, do you feel that the customers across these segments are maturing and sort of coming at par from segment to segment in terms of the expectations from the brand?
So actually, we've spoken of this before,
Yes.
and I'm telling everyone that it's now 2.5 years since I've come back to India.
Yes.
The difference I find if I start from the government, the central government tells you, give me the technology which is either the safest,
Yeah.
or the most efficient,
Right.
or the most environment friendly. Money is not a problem. I want to bring it as a government, as a regulation.
Right.
So very positive intent. The industry knows that there's a change from ICE to other forms, be it gases,
Yes.
be it electric, be it hydrogen or fuel cells.
Right.
So everyone is with an open mind. So everyone is having a set of technologies either on the OEM side or we as component manufacturers. So if you put this combination together, the field is wide open for change.
Right.
And I think that is where ZF, with its roadmap very clearly laid on electric, with all our divisions now more or less geared up in all our plants to produce components, to produce digitized products, to produce telematics.
Right.
All are converging more or less, even if you say that portfolio is large.
Right.
But there is a connect between the two.
Right.
I heard today, and you will talk more about that, Alex, that we have this electric product for material handling there. So the motor could be different, but the points of contact with the rest of the machine, whether it is ICE engine there or electric, are the same.
Right.
Which means you're not changing everything. So I think that with that, there is convergence. Electric, electronics, AI, digitization is playing a much bigger chunk
Right.
than normal mechanical, electrical, industrial. I think that's happening very fast.
Right.
And from that point of view, I'm very pleased that I'm at ZF, which is very, very focused on these new technologies, including all the new innovations.
Right. Right. Despite the talks of all these developments taking place simultaneously, he said that umpteen number of times when he was on the other side of the spectrum also. Do you feel that the roadmap is crystal clear for you all as tier 1 suppliers or a tech company to take a very decisive bet on a particular technology like you said? You know, is that kind of a crystal clear roadmap available, or is it a supplier first initiative?
So first of all, Ashish, we are in India. And everything is, before I give it to Alex, everything is up for grabs here.
Right.
Things are changing very fast in our developing technology. Maybe Europe, things are more stabilized. In US, they are. But India is an evolving economy.
Right.
Alex, go ahead.
I can maybe answer that from an off-highway perspective.
Yes.
And let me maybe start with what I want to, for people take away from this ex-con show, the messaging we have here. Outside there's a slogan that says from less to zero. And we call it best system approach. Want to have, of course, the path for electrification. We see different ways as well. And for electrification, for example, for compact vehicles up to a class of 150, 200 kilowatt, electrification makes sense already today. Also, as Akkar said before, supported by governmental regulations. And this is why we were very lucky to enter the market, and we were the first to go in serial production with a big customers that was Volvo. And Volvo in Europe decided to change all their fleet for compact loaders up to 8 tons, fully electric. They don't have any other vehicles in the market for Europe.
Right.
So, and this was our approach to step in. And this was, as we learned afterwards, the perfect solution for both of us, because the compact market is the easiest to really transform to fully electric driveline.
Right.
And on the other hand, we see above this 150, 200 kilowatt, we see a development towards either alternative fuels, be it biofuels, be it synthetic fuels or hydrogen.
Right.
But still based on a combustion engine somehow. And the good thing as a technology open supplier, we don't even care so much about the power source, because our driveline, and this is very important, is already so mature, especially the CVT driveline, that the power source does not that matter. So either is it hydrogen or fuel, we can handle this.
Right.
And the most important thing for us is to really reduce the CO2 emission. And there we have already a lot of technology in place to help our customer to do that. And then we are really open from be it market-driven or customer-driven to go the path that the customer wants to go. So this is one of the message. And the other one, to finish this, is that we are now not talking about excellent transmissions anymore. We want to be seen, and I think that's a a good way now to have also braking technology in-house now as a full system supplier. And
Yes.
I think ZF is the biggest and the only one who can really say this, because we really have the full system for our customer available, and we do understand the driveline technology system. This, I think, in the future, especially when you talk about electrification and autonomous operation, it's very, very important to understand the full system.
Right, right. I just want to touch upon your multiple acquisitions, and I'm not just saying that over the last year or last 3 years. I'm looking at ZF from the initiatives that it has taken in the European countries and the acquisitions that have taken place, and this whole pitch of being a total solutions provider has materialized over the years, say for example in Europe. So do you feel that kind of a grassroots implementation is now shaping up in India? How far are you from, saying that our execution on ground is at par with an execution in Europe?
I think, of course, our parent operation, our headquarters are in Germany,
Yes.
as you know.
Yes.
As I said earlier, widespread across the world of about 168 plants,
Yes.
a lot of them in Europe and US. So for us, the technology starts from there.
Absolutely.
And I think we both will agree that whether it is electric technology or other modern technologies coming in,
Right.
they are a little bit ahead in developed countries at this moment compared to us.
Right.
So from that point of view, we do have the head start.
Sure.
Now it is, how do we translate it into India?
Right.
And given that scale, policy, and maybe some regulations were not clear earlier, I think that these issues don't stand anymore between us.
Right. Right.
The government is keen, customers are keen to try new things, OEMs are willing to bring in new things,
Right.
and look at a more long-term horizon.
Right.
So, keeping all these in mind, I think our key challenge is that government needs Make in India.
Right.
We have already a large footprint into India or Make in India.
Right.
So our challenge is not whether we have the technology or not.
Right.
Technology is available. What is suitable for India and how can we localize it and make it available at the Indian cost mass
That is the
is the key issue which we all have to work together and bring it in.
right.
In a
Right.
number of areas we are already successful. The plant we have in Coimbatore today, whether for windmills or for industrial technology,
Right. Right.
for our axles and for our transmissions, over the years 80-90% of the production has been exported.
Right. Right.
But today, which is also one of the main things, that a couple of years back we announced that we will put in 200 million euro towards expansion in
Right.
India, and a part of that is now being used from that kitty
Right.
to start the next phase of 12,000 square meter plant in the Coimbatore facilities,
Right.
for axles and transmission,
Right.
which will again be exported, but at the same time, the domestic need would be bigger than what it was today.
Right. Right.
And let me maybe add, as more complicated and complex the driveline system gets, we always say it because we are very close to our customers. We want to be there for you and your vehicle from cradle to grave. And this really is the case also in India, because we were talking about ZF is local or made in India.
Right.
We are not talking only about production. We have local engineering, we have local sales team, we have the local production, and at the end we have a really good local service network. So our customers can really have this this support from the beginning to the end of a vehicle life. And I think this gets more and more important if we talk about electrification or full systems that change rapidly.
Right. And that can't happen also without the efficiencies that have been introduced, I think, both upstream and downstream, right down to the last tier supplier in your value chain. So a word on how you've taken them along, how you had to perhaps maybe handhold them to see through this strategy.
So we have a special department which is responsible for this activity.
Right.
So there is, of course, a supplier base which is always there. Like any other multinational, we have our processes laid out
Right.
on quality parameters, on skilling, etc. But on top of that, we have a separate department where the work is, let's say, every month to pick up 50 suppliers.